get into it.
Bow wow.
Bow wow wow.
Yeah, what's good, Daddy?
All right, yo.
You know what's so funny? Like I was just listening back to some of the old episodes.
I love if you just did my donut being bit like as your own. That'd be so funny. that we just did off air.
I was going down the Instagram page looking at the old snippets or whatever.
Yes.
And I was watching one from the very first episode when we're talking about it's like the
Jordan Peterson, isn't it? Jordan Peterson.
First or second episode, yeah. We're talking about sexy cartoon characters and stuff as well. I remember kind of being so excited when we started the podcast. And I was working at Woolies at the time.
Oh.
And I remember being so excited, and everyone kind of knew I was kind of getting into doing comedy and whatever, right?
Yeah, you were talking to people about comedy in the bottle shop and stuff like that.
Yeah, so they already kind of knew that I wanted to kind of do that. And then I was really excited. So I was telling my friends that I'm about to start the podcast and whatever. But they're not really friends that you work with. You know what I mean? They're peripheral kind of people. We've got to spend time together. So we've got to kind of,
I think you called them sand man words. You kind of tried to refer them as.
No, I didn't.
Stuff like that. Yeah.
I didn't
I think, what was that? There was that one guy, Maya, who may be listening to this show. Jackson likes to refer to you as a sand.
Oh, no, what are you talking about?
I'm just talking. Yeah, we're just keeping it real on this podcast.
Dude, that's the funniest thing. Just referring to people with the wrong racial stereotypes or whatever. Oh, that guy. Yeah, that's my. It's no, they're not even.
Yeah, no, he's Italian. No, he's actually Swedish.
Yeah, so working with, Maya's a friend, obviously, but there are people kind of that are just around you. You know what I mean? And I was on a lunch break, and I was having a cigarette one time, and there was this chick.
You call that hanging out with your gay co-worker?
No, we don't. We don't say that.
About burning sticks. You called him a cigarette in reference to burning sticks and what that's. Okay, so you're having a cigarette.
And my friend, this chick that I work with comes up. It's what's going on? And because I was so excited from recording the podcast, I was
first.
This is at the very beginning.
We've done the episode. Yeah,
and uploaded it and everything.
Yeah.
Because I was frothing, because I was this is so cool. I've listened to podcasts for a while. You know what I mean? And now we're actually doing it, and it's good content. It's quality stuff. So I was really excited about that. And I remember, at the time and everything, I gave her the AirPod or whatever. No, actually, I think I put it on her phone. I was here, listen to this.
Oh, you sent it to her. You sent it to her as an airdrop.
No, it was already on our Instagram page, this little snippet.
Okay, yeah.
So I think she just gave me the phone because she had headphones or whatever. So I just got the Instagram page up to show her the snippet. She listened to it.
Looked away. She's like, no, you're the one that calls Maya the sand N-word. So I'm not really comfortable with a lot of the things that you do or the choices you make.
She actually high-fived me and was like, yeah. That's what I
heard. You're the guy that calls me.
But and it's I was so excited and whatever, and she was kind of supportive, as you would be if someone just showed you a thing. But then I just listened back to it in hindsight, and I'm we are psychopaths. And what's even worse?
What was the bit that you showed her?
I don't even, there's I don't know, there's a few. I'm just even looking at the photos on the first thing, and I'm this is not for the normal person. She would have been
true. That's
listening
true.
To, but it just shows how kind of innocent we are in the approach to this style of comedy. You know what I mean? I'm just
yes. and how innocent she was, because she was like one of the high school kind of workers. She was 16, got a job in the afternoons, and then you sent her that bit about being attracted to young girls.
Oh no, she didn't work there.
She'd lost her mother.
She was a customer.
Just an 8-year-old girl. She's like, "Excuse me, sir, I don't know where my mum is." And she's like, "I'm just doing a podcast. Look at this picture."
She's like, "Yeah, she's like, can I get a bit of help over here?" And I'm like, "I got a bit for you."
That can help.
And she's like, "This isn't very funny." I'm like, "It's ironic." You probably just don't understand irony. And she's like, "No, I do understand irony. This just isn't very good.
This just isn't funny. It's just not like really a creative version of irony. It's not creative at all. It's just like rehashing overused, offensive comedy tropes about having sex with children and being gay."
But it's just so funny in hindsight thinking about it. Like I just show her this thing like, "Oh my God, you should hear this." Like me and my friends were actually really funny. And it's just like, "Oh yeah, I think I could fight Ben Shapiro," or something like that.
And she's like, "Oh, funny. Yeah, great." It's probably kind of like a Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock thing, like Jerry Seinfeld. You know, I like comedy. I like humor.
But it's so funny as well on the other end of the thing. I mean, I think doing stand-up was where...
What about Ben De Niro? It's like, are you talking to me? Are you talking to me?
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. We can show her that little 3-second bit. I like that idea that you just show her a tiny little thing. Where it's like, here he says, Ben De Niro.
What about a tiny little thing? What are we talking about? Your penis? Yeah.
Okay, nice.
Tiny little thing. What are we talking about? The time that's left that you pretend that you're straight, or you can't deal with it anymore?
No. Tiny little thing. What are we talking about? The tiny girl that you showed the podcast to.
Tiny little Bing. What are we talking about?
Okay. Now we're cooking.
Donut franchise.
What are you talking about? That girl that I followed home from Westfield last night.
What about Robert Shapiro? And he's like, "You talking to me?"
I don't even know if I get how that works in the universe. Robert Shapiro. Wouldn't that just be Robert De Niro?
No, it's Robert Shapiro. It's a different guy.
And he just so happens to like doing Robert De Niro kind of things. I watched the movie. I watched Taxi Driver. What? You talking to me?
Wouldn't it be funny? Wouldn't it be? Oh, I don't even know what I was just about to. Oh yeah, like doing stand up. That's where that kind of like, I said innocence before, but probably like naivety is probably like a better way of describing it.
Okay.
Being like, "Oh yeah, I've just done this thing." No one will find it offensive. Everyone will know exactly where it comes from.
Yeah, they understand the layers of irony. They understand.
Well, just assuming that people do or want to.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And then doing stand-up, that's where I think, for me personally, that's where I really realized, it's not really like that. People kind of... It's a very specific kind of audience, I think.
The in-jokes can't really work on stage, but then they can if they're structured well enough. If you get the audience to kind of be in on the in-joke with you.
That's true.
And usually that's by performing at white supremacist rooms like Crown Comedy. That's always a lot easier to get the audience on your side.
I can't wait to get back to stand-up. It's going to be so good.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Because I think, yes, that idea of getting the audience in on the, like, they're almost part of your friendship group. I feel that's kind of the angle that we like to do. And it's hard because I guess you have the very one-dimensional joke structure and approach to comedy that kind of works. Yeah. And then you've got the stuff that's almost anti-comedy, kind of like that alternative style, which I feel when the audience does get on board with it, you can really take them on a journey because they're like, oh, I'm in this friendship group with this guy. I'm this guy's friend and he has this absurd sense of humor. I like this now. And we're buddies.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Because I was doing open mic so much, and then when I finally did that, like, one-liner competition, it was like my friends were in the audience from outside of the comedy world. I mean, like, a couple dudes I went to high school with, and then, like, some more friends as well from, like, a different friendship group.
Yeah.
Chilling and watching that. And it was doing so well. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And yeah, man, maybe there's something to, like, the effect of, like, having people that kind of know who you are. It was doing well in the whole room, and I'm not sure if having people already in your corner really helped that.
Because I guess if you do have a room that's not your people, that's always the classic one, where it's like, okay, I'm in a room, let's say if you go into a room kind of in the western suburbs or something like that, and you're like this hipster U-town, or even like a surfy sort of kid, that the audience they've never really come across someone like you before, or this person before. Yeah, that's true, where that disconnect can happen. And it's like, dude, I was getting these barrels last night, and I'm not talking about the waves. I was smuggling alcohol like it was the 1920s. What is that called? Revisionist? What's that period where you couldn't have alcohol?
Prohibition.
Prohibition. I wish I could bring that back. That would be hilarious if they just kind of like, oh yeah, no, Sydney's in lockdown. They've also banned alcohol.
They're taking away vapes, did you know?
Really?
Yeah.
Can you still buy them at stores though?
I'm sure you will be able to.
I thought they were already illegal. I thought they were already illegal.
So I'm pretty sure. What is it? No, you can still buy canisters and whatever. I think it's just the disposable ones are illegal. So there's just refillable ones where you can just get like vapor and whatever. But I think they're not letting any of it happen.
What's the difference between the two though? Like, is one more dangerous?
I don't know. Like, yeah, I really don't know. But yeah, I think it's kind of whack. I don't think there's really a problem with it. And everyone that I know that smokes cigarettes has switched over to vapes.
Oh.
And
okay.
And for me personally, like I don't do either now and haven't for like a while. But when I was smoking cigarettes, that fucks you up compared to vapes, which isn't as bad, and you kind of get the same fix.
And I guess you get to have that blueberry scent. I think it's nicer for people to be around it.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then I think the other thing is like people that are going to alienate themselves from situations because they want to smoke cigarettes are going to. So it's like they can kind of be a little bit more integrated with social kind of things while getting that fix. The nicotine fix. Yeah, I think it's better. I think it's better. But then again, we don't know the long-term health benefits. And not benefits, like how it's going to impact people's health. That's why they don't want it.
I think even like you think about it, if everyone switches over to vapes, how is it going to work in movies? Is it going to work like someone smoking on the vape and having a conversation? Because I feel every single movie just relies so heavily on smoking cigarettes.
That's
like
true,
I feel probably 95% of movies just wouldn't work.
Yeah.
It'd be creepy. Like two guys just outside autistically talking to each other. Like
or inside.
Or inside or on a podcast. If that's the thing, if we were smoking cigarettes right now, this would be probably the opening of a movie. Because it'll be like, I think the engagement and how cool it looks, it goes up by like 100%. If we were smoking cigarettes, having a conversation, it'd be completely different.
I think I watched a video about like cigarettes in art.
Yeah.
It's like a video essay kind of thing. They were talking about like in high classes, like they would smoke like cigars and whatever because they were introduced.
And in other classes, they had to smoke cigars, but with an N. I like if they were just that'd be good. Black people actually can't buy cigars. They're just forced to buy the same thing, but it's with an N. And they're like, come on, man. Come on, man. Really?
Yeah.
Sorry. You can get it, but it's got a different name. Actually, I might change this lighting quickly. There we go.
Nice.
Now that production value is up. Yes.
Oh, wait,
yes.
I can see you. Wait, you're a dude?
I thought I was having a conversation with a hot babe for 20 minutes. And then, it'd be funny if you just committed to it and hung up. That'd be good.
Yeah, I should have been able to tell by the voice, but I suppose I'm more horny. Yeah. I'm more horny than I am observative.
Or I guess that your girlfriend actually has the same voice, so it's not really interchangeable at all. You're like, no, that's how women sound.
Yeah, because I actually told my girlfriend I prefer the natural look.
Okay.
Which was a bad idea because she's a drag queen. My girlfriend's a drag queen, so it's a bad idea that I told her I prefer the natural look.
What about her being a camel or something like that? I heard that you had suspicions that she may have been a camel.
I'm so keen to get back on the stage, man. I had a good couple minutes getting together there.
Are you kidding? Oh wait, no. Before or
yeah,
now?
before.
Yeah, I know. I think we were both kind of reaching that 6-ish month point. Probably getting close to 6 months in comedy.
Yeah, because I guess we started in February?
Oh yeah, it was February. Yeah, so probably kind of 5-ish months. And it was getting solid. I think that's probably the trajectory. Kind of like 6 months, you should be getting close to a good 5. A year, you should be close to having like a pretty solid tight 5. And what are we talking about? Talking about my girlfriend here, tight 5, because she's Jewish and she's also even average attraction.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant she was a 5-year-old who.
Oh, okay. That actually might be a better. That might be better. Let's see if I can. I might even add that to the joke book or something like that.
Would it be hilarious to shoot a special at Crown Comedy, being like 6 months into comedy?
It's been like, yeah, no, guys, I'm just shooting my special tonight. Yeah, so just keep the laughs up. It's going to be out on Netflix. Well, actually, no, it could be out on Stan. I honestly could imagine Stan presenting Crown Comedy. And it says 4 comics do 5 minutes. I could honestly see that being produced. Where it's like, hey, Crown Comedy. Stan presents Crown Comedy, da-da-da-da-da. 4 of the best comics do their 5 minutes in front of kind of a white nationalist audience.
Well, we were talking about getting up that a bit of a comedy night going.
Yes.
That would be so good. But I guess the thing is, if you film something, you kind of need to scrap it probably.
Scrap what?
Like, I mean, with comedians, they want to get something so tight before they film it, and then once they film it, scrap it and write more.
Yeah, that's the scary thing, because you don't really want to. But I guess you can bring it into rooms that you've never been in. I do like the idea of filming a special doing like 2 takes or whatever, and just doing it probably like 6 months apart, like completely fluctuating in weight and wearing a completely different outfit. Completely different facial hair. Just like shaved eyebrows for no reason. Just looking completely different. It's like, what about my girlfriend? And then I'm like, well, she's really, and you just look completely different right after. I do like that.
I always think it'd be so funny to get like one of the professional kind of shot ones, like, but not even like a big one. Like imagine like Mark Normand or like.
So not like actually, that didn't work. It doesn't work with the big one. So we're talking about your penis. There we go. Sorry, it's early in the morning. So yeah, not your penis. Wait, so like a Mark Norman special.
Yeah, and you've got like editing. You know how it's like, it'll be like a shot of him telling the joke, and then it's like him on a different angle, and then it'll like show people in the audience like enjoying it kind of thing.
Yeah.
I always just think it'd be so funny to kind of do that, like, but kind of like only take those shots of the audience, and then just like, so it's just you up on a stage at like Crown Comedy, just being like, yo, what's the deal with Russian people? And then it goes to the audience. The audience is kind of like that professional audience.
Like Mark Norman's audience. You just take that shot.
Yeah, and like have everyone absolutely loving it. Kind of posting that up.
That's actually a very funny idea. And just take it from a Chris Rock special. It's like, wow, I didn't know there were so many black people at Crown Comedy. They're just like waving towels around and going crazy, like running around the room. And you just be like, I'm gay, psych. And then that response. That's actually a very good idea.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm very, I almost want to try and see how that looks. That would look very good. Doing that back and forth, just finding like a weird iPhone clip of a bit and getting that professional grade. You're just lazy with the editing, and it just kind of shows Chris Rock on stage for a second. Goodness gracious. I do like that idea of like a high-profile comedian coming around to the small clubs, especially in Sydney.
It's crazy seeing. You know what's going to be amazing is coming back and hearing everyone's new stuff.
Oh, they'll be like, yeah, this COVID stuff's pretty weird. Hey, lockdown feels like I was in lockdown for a year.
COVID-19, what's that?
I like that. I actually watched a 5-minute set of just
COVID material.
barely even comedy, but just talking about COVID. Be like, that was pretty weird, huh?
So you look at it, I'll be like, this guy is crazy.
I would love to do that just for 5 minutes. 5 minutes, just commit just COVID material, no real jokes or anything. Gladys Berejiklian, huh?
I kind of want to get up there and just, I want to get up there and just be bombing, but keep calling back to the same guy. Like, this guy gets it. Imagine how uncomfortable you'd be. You're that guy in the audience, and there's that guy up there.
Yeah.
Just kind of.
And you're just doing like 5 minutes on Gladys Berejiklian's nose, and then no one's getting it. No one's liking it. And it's like, hey, sweetheart, how about a mask to cover that nose? Like, we get it. You're from a Middle Eastern country. How about a mask? We don't need to see that in our face every single morning. This guy gets it. Mm-hmm. This guy knows what I do like that idea.
Yeah.
Just barely Barely jokes. I do like that. That's very funny. I would love to go back and just do something completely outside the realm of comedy. I do love that idea.
It's such a crazy kind of, watching Shane Gillis's special that just came out.
Yeah.
It was like a game changer for me.
Yes.
Such a crazy thing. Like, he's so good and likable and not hacky at all.
Yeah, it wasn't that. There weren't really any moments. Yeah, everything just felt fresh, kind of exciting.
Yes. Yeah.
And like almost like very, very in tune with the new generation. Like he felt like that new wave.
Yeah, I mean, probably
Very
if you're
youthful.
American, if you're like American as well, that probably would have been so good. He's talking about like Fox News and and like football and stuff like that.
Yeah. I guess it's very bro-y. It really had that bro humor brought to the, probably more than kind of it ever been really done before. Because I guess some people could call like Dane Cook bro humor, but it was more of like frat humor. Shane's kind of felt more like dude, kind of. He is like the idea of the quarterback, that cool kid who just keeps on winning throughout life. Which is probably, it's not meant to happen. You're not meant to win forever.
I don't think he has.
One.
Yeah, he's been a loser for so long.
Oh,
he talks about it all the time.
He's actually kind of been a loser. But the fact he's winning now and he kind of won forever, I don't think people like the idea of the quarterback or the most popular kid in school winning later in life.
It's crazy watching someone kind of gain that bit of traction and then you see them. He's been doing like podcasts in other like, what would you call it? Like fan bases and stuff. Like he's reaching kind of new fan bases and whatever. And in these interviews, he's doing so well. He's being humble. He's being on brand and funny.
Yes.
It's crazy seeing someone do that. You know what I mean? Like they get on that wave and then they can really ride it like that. It's like, wow, this guy's probably
doing it everywhere. Where I feel that it's when you know you've got a good brand, when you've got a good thing going, where you can bring it anywhere. When it's like, I'm on this show, I can kind of bring my pure kind of sense of humor and who I am. And then another one, bam, I brought myself to it. It's impressive. It's hard to do. I feel like...
Oh, go on.
Oh, it's just normal to kind of drop who you are, really, when you're in a different audience or with a different kind of, on a different platform or different show. To just kind of almost, not even forget who you are, but kind of try to appease an audience.
Yeah, definitely. What do they call that? Pandering.
Yes.
Pandering to people, yeah.
Pandering to the point where your brand just doesn't seem legit.
I think that's probably a big thing for like any kind of artist or new person kind of thing, is being able to bring that and like fit into the world already around them.
Yes.
It's just like a missing link that, no.
How about a missing?
No.
What are we talking about? Something about Shane Gillis. I don't even know. That's
something about like
very funny.
Like a detective, and they're trying to find like a missing Asian man, but there's like a missing link in the investigation. The guy busts in the room and he's like, missing link, more like.
I like that, and it's just a pause scenario for 2 minutes. Or what about a detective who's trying to find the missing link?
Yes.
With a lost Asian man, And then he goes to like the higher up and he's like, I found the missing. And he actually found the guy, but he wants to say the word.
That should be like the law. If you save someone's life of like, you can say it.
You can say the slur.
Yeah.
I think it would. If someone saved my life, like I'm drowning, and then it's like, okay, I got you, N-word. I'll be like, thank you. And then you're alive, coughed up all the water. You're like, wait, what did you say earlier? And he's like, nothing. What is being a lifeguard and just using slurs on the people you slay? There we go. That was a little bit of
what was it?
I've forgotten what that's called. Oh yeah, but
Freudian slip.
Freudian slip.
What was even the slip? I completely missed that.
The people you slave. Yeah, there we go. Okay, that was a good one. Yeah, I didn't even know that was happening. But yeah, the people you save, you're like on the little buggy and you're just saying the craziest things to them. And then you get them in. And they're literally like coughing up water and you've saved their life. Would they want to press charges? Would they want to kind of follow that up? Or would they just be like, yeah, thanks. And then just leave?
You know, if you could say it. Oh my God. Actually, I meant to tell you this.
Yeah.
So, like, when I was younger, like when I was in high school, I said the N-word because I would like be like, if I was like, I was like into rap music and stuff. So if I'm singing along to like some song like that,
you would just yell it out of the car at the African family down the road. And it's like, no, you guys sing it. So
I was just going around the neighborhood paying people to put like black families in danger so I could save them and drop that word. No, but like seriously, like I would.
It's literally like a house is on fire of a black family. You literally
like running down the street.
And then they're like, you literally put out the fire. They're like, thank you so much. And you're already painting like the end, spray painting. And you're like, let me just quickly finish up here. Yeah, thank you.
I've just got like a bingo card and a police scanner. And it's like, what about like a vigilante like that? That would be pretty good.
Well, that goes around saving people just so he can use a slur.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to you using the N-word in high school.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, just being kind of like, just naive to that argument or whatever. And I don't even think I was ever really called out on it.
Yeah.
Or anything like that. But definitely realized that it was just like not an okay thing to do. You know what I mean? So just kind of grew up from that and like stopped saying that unless I was like on an anonymous forum or
unless the waiter got my order wrong.
But like, yeah. So probably since I was like 14, probably since I was like 14 or something.
Yeah, I stopped using the N-word, but that was all the way over there.
Probably since I was 14, days ago or something.
Okay.
No, 14. But yeah, and then the
2014, I'll stop using it.
The other day, I was like exhausted. The other day, I was like just like so tired, like about to pass out, and
You just had to say it to kind of...
Yeah, it's my final... I'm like, I think I'm about to die. I just got to let it rip. That's probably the perfect final word because, like, nothing can happen to you after you're dead. You know what I mean?
I guess you could get cancelled.
Yeah, but you're dead. Who cares?
I guess your offspring, family... Because I feel like the idea of getting cancelled after you're dead is a real thing that seems to be happening kind of more and more.
I mean, but I guess they're not your family anymore because you're dead.
But I guess it is your legacy.
No, but it's not your legacy anymore because you're dead.
Because you're dead.
It's your... If you were alive, it would be your legacy. But now it's no one's legacy because you don't exist.
I do like that. I do like that idea when it's like people accusing Michael Jackson of molesting them, and it's saying just being in court.
It's like,
and
no
the
one
opposition saying, "What are you talking about? Michael Jackson isn't even alive right now. What are you talking about?" And the kid's like, I just want to get some money from the estate. It's affected my life, my relationships with people. I've been unable to work or live. And they're like, this guy thinks Michael Jackson's alive. He's dead. He's not even a person anymore.
It's just like a young black man trying to sue Michael Jackson's estate. And his lawyer is there. His lawyer is there with a bingo card. Like, we need to win this.
I do like the fear of kind of committing hate because I do always have that fear of going probably like $1 million in debt or as much in debt as I possibly can and then killing myself. That'd be a pretty good one.
That's pretty good.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
live for a year. Just go crazy. Stack up a ridiculous amount of debt, get debt from like 10 different banks, and then kill yourself.
I mean, yeah, I'm probably going to kill myself. I may as well spend a bunch of other people's money first.
That's the thing. Like, what if you were going to die in... Maybe not if you're going to die in a year. But what do you think you would do if you had like a year left to live?
Kill myself.
I like that idea. Like, you'd be at all these amazing things. You'd be like on the French Riviera and you'd be like, I'm going to die soon. This isn't as fun anymore. That's what they don't tell you about. You're doing all these amazing things and you're on this roller coaster and you're kind of thinking that you're going to die.
Wait, what do you mean? What do you mean?
When you have a year left to live, all the things you do, probably you're not going to enjoy them that much because you're thinking in your head, dang, I'm never going to be able to do this again.
Oh, it's so fucked up. Yeah, because time is like the... And time is also like the way I think most people rationalize things. You know what I mean? Like, if you're sad, you're like, oh, this will pass. Da-da-da, this will pass. And progress is a big thing. And if you're
sad when you've got a year left to live, it's like, this better pass soon because I've got 8 months left. That would be... Yeah. I guess when there is that time limit, it's hard to kind of be a normal person.
Oh, no, my story. I was telling you a story.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so I was really tired and I was going through, I had been listening to like, what was it? I watched like a little bit of a Playboy Cardi interview and then listened to a song.
Okay.
And then I remember when Mario Judah came out.
Oh,
yeah. He had that song and I was like, this is so much like Playboy Cardi. I showed you because I didn't really know Playboy Cardi like that at the time. And you were like, no, I mean, style-wise, but it's not. Doesn't sound like him. So I listened to Playboy Cardi.
They're both. What do you mean they're both? Anyway.
Yeah, so I listened to Playboy Cardi and then I listened to Mario Judah and then I listened to his other song. It's like, I'm a big dog, big bear. It's the one that was like all controversial because they were like, he was like singing like a metal singer over like a trap beat.
Yes, the classic, the biggest hit he had.
Yeah, and then people were saying, "Oh, this guy, he's pronouncing that word with a hard ER," and they're like, "That's racist."
It's racist. Yeah.
So I listened to that song, right, and then I was thinking about it afterwards and whatever, and I was like just about to go to sleep, like close my laptop and whatever, and I sing to myself probably like 60% of the day.
Yeah, you know you're singing that song. Yeah.
And I just sung it like with my girlfriend there. She was like playing PlayStation in the room.
Yeah.
And I just sung it hard ER and everything like that.
Yes.
And I caught myself and I swear to God, like the blood left my face. I was just like mortified. And
your girlfriend's like, Jackson, I didn't know you were cool.
Worst part of the whole thing is my girlfriend didn't say anything. So she's just like, oh yeah, no, like, I don't know. We still haven't talked about it because I'm embarrassed about it. You know what I mean? Did she hear you? Well, that's the thing. I haven't mentioned it. I haven't mentioned it.
Kill him. But she would have been there. Yeah, what happened afterwards?
She like just told me that she loved me and that
she wants to get married. She hopes we get married.
No, it was so weird. Like, even I mean, I've been to like Kendrick concerts, J. Cole concerts, just so I could say that word. No, I'm kidding. I've been to those concerts and like been singing along and so engaged in the moment, but still just there's a thing in my brain that won't say it. I won't even really say. I mean, I'll say like fuck and shit and whatever. I won't say like. I'll probably not even try and say bitch if they're literally referring to a woman or something like that.
Okay, so you're trying to be a good guy with the words you use. I feel like a concert should almost be a free-for-all, though. That's the thing, because you're kind of like hidden in these thousands of people. And if the artist is performing the song on stage, he's expecting people to know all the words.
Here's I think my thing is I feel like almost any kind of action I take, the words I use and it should be justified in every way. Yeah. And I don't want, like, if anyone took any moment or anything I said out of my daily life, they took any moment out of the podcast and out of any kind of conversation I had, songs or whatever, you should be able to get that and like give that to that person and they can receive it in the same way that I've said it, or I should be able to justify it.
I get that. Yeah, but
I'm really not someone that likes to change between settings like that.
I do feel like when you're by yourself, though, it can be different. Like if you were to use that word by yourself, there's no one else around. Same if you're in your car, there's no one else around. And I think a concert's almost on that same level as well. I feel it's justified. You can be kind of different then.
Here's the thing. For instance, say my phone was like just sitting there or whatever. If there's like a record of it happening or something like that, I should be able to justify it everywhere. And maybe it's a consequence of having always kind of been so vocal and being like, no, I am an artist and someone with something to say. Then I kind of want that.
Word.
Yeah. Then I kind of do want it justified in every way. You know what I mean? And whether or not the microphone's actually there, I almost treat it like it is.
And you call it a microphone with a K. So you're always kind of, even when you're by yourself.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. There's no one else around. Do you still feel like you're accountable for the words you say? when
Yeah,
no one else
that's probably the best way to say it, is like feeling accountable for it. Yeah. I feel like accountability for my actions, and my words, and we'll take account for that.
You
know what
I
I
know,
mean?
like, I guess with me, I never really swear or use any words in public or if I'm with people. I'll insinuate it all day, like we do on the podcast, but I'll never kind of I just don't swear when I'm around people. But again, when I'm probably in the car, if I'm just by myself and there's no one else around, and same probably at a music festival or like at a concert, I feel kind of a little bit more free in those periods of time, because it's almost like they're solo events. I feel what you say, it's like, what is it? The tree dropping in the forest.
Yeah.
Because no one's going to hear it. It's just you. You're not offending anyone. The words are just become kind of words at that point. Almost like, it's like a painting, or it's just like it's just a song. It has no deeper meaning. Unless, especially when it's done kind of, or slurs and stuff are used in a pop song that's very one-dimensional. It's different, I guess, if it's like a Nas song, then you're kind of to yourself, you're trying to understand the meaning of it.
I think maybe a big thing is kind of like acting in a way that if someone who didn't know better heard you, wouldn't just adopt it like that.
Because around people? Or just by yourself as well?
Well, that's the thing. Like, I never really... Yeah, I don't really know what it is. I don't feel any kind of necessity to do that or whatever. And then I go around people and I just try to remain as authentic as possible, I suppose. Yeah. Or just like act in a way that's like not going to change that. Having said that, I also like respect other people's decision and whatever. I just don't want to kind of like negatively influence someone's thing. And in terms of like saying other words, swear words, as opposed to like slurs, is like swear words are, in terms of my sense of, what would you call it? Like my sense of morals, that's fine. Like I don't, like swearing doesn't bother me at all. And it's a very like blue collar thing, maybe just coming from like that kind of area and whatever. It's like just people just swear, you know what I mean? And then, yeah, but when it comes to like a slur, having said that, if I'm in a situation where other people are dropping it, it's hilarious.
Okay.
It's so, like, it can be so funny if we're like hanging out with da-da-da-da-da and they just feel like they can do it. I mean, it's not like a blanket thing, like it's all fine, you know what I mean? But if there's someone... Yeah, I mean, would there be a time where you would call someone out on saying like, maybe like if someone just said like a homophobic slur?
Yeah, I'd probably be kind of like, oh, you kind of give it that bit of a shudder. That bit of like, okay, he's really going there.
But then, for instance, what if like, one of our like comic friends, you can't think of any of those, you'd just give a pass to?
It's always like, I get the angle where it's funny, but I think it's always kind of a bit confrontational. It's funny because it's so abnormal, I feel, when it's so kind of... It goes against, and it's just so kind of foreign to what you're used to, I feel, where it's like, oh no, that's just something you don't do. and then they do it. You're like, oh, okay. Do you know what I mean? Because of that almost reaction. I do really get how it's funny. And I feel it's the difference between if they're using it to be funny or if they're using it just as a word to use. It'd be like, oh yeah, those da-da-da-da-da kept on looking at me when I was on stage. And I'm like,
oh,
okay, Eddie, man.
that would, you know that would kind of suck. Yeah, but I mean, there's one
person... just to be funny. Yeah.
It's almost like having the red button right there. And they're like, wait. You know what I mean? They know that it's funny, but someone that's just like, they don't see it as they don't even see it as a red button. They're just pressing buttons. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
But it's the person that knows.
You've got ignorance, and then you've got humor, when it's like, I'm going to be saying this, and it's ironic, and I'm saying it to be funny. And then you've got someone who says it, and you're like, oh, what do you mean I can't say words like that? Most like 80-year-olds, like my grandparents and stuff, are like that. They just don't know better. And then you kind of let that one go, and you just pass it off as like, oh, it's just their own ignorance.
Yeah.
And then I guess you've got people who are using it in a hateful way. And that's where I want to be friends with them, because they're probably very cool. And they've probably got some good ideas on these groups of people that they're talking about.
I don't know if I mentioned it to you, but like I've got like a friend, and he uses like slurs. Who use like a homophobic slur.
Yeah, I think I know who you're talking about.
And like he's got like a dog, like a puppy.
Yeah.
And he's like loving this. He loves this thing, and he's like scratching it, and he'll like call it that word. He's like, you trying to bite me? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And that kind of thing. And it's like very confusing, because this guy's obviously not using it in a hateful way. It's almost like saying the same thing as being like,
again, it's like, it's a spectrum where he's like right on that line when it's, and I guess when you talk to this person about societal issues and their opinions on these groups of people, what are their opinions? And that's where you can kind of be like, understand where they're coming from a little bit more.
And I guess that's the thing, like knowing this person, it's very abrasive because he doesn't really change around people too much. Maybe he tries, but you can't really hide it like that. You know what I mean? So he would be like, he comes across as abrasive for a lot of people.
Yes. I've noticed that. And I feel like you can almost make an exception to that type of person, because it usually does come with maybe not even like a personality disorder, but maybe on the verge of a personality disorder.
Yeah, and we've spoken about that with him. In high school, he actually got tested because we thought that he might like actually have autism or something like that.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel that like you can make a pass with that stuff. It's almost like he almost joins the ranks of like an 80-year-old, where it's like, he just doesn't know better. He can't really control himself. So therefore, it's like the idea where if you see a lot of these racial attacks on World Star and stuff like that, you can see a big difference between someone who's actually mentally ill and she's calling someone the N-word, and then a group of guys beat her up. And it's sad. But when it is someone who actually has hate in their heart, they're doing it in a hateful, spiteful kind of manner.
Yeah.
It feels, you can kind of pick up on the vibe, and you're like, oh no, this is kind of funny to watch, because this hateful person's kind of getting their karma.
That's kind of where the line gets really blurry, is that there are people who are...
What are we talking about? My Japanese wife's genitalia? What are we...
No.
That's where the sideways line. That's where the sideways line gets very blurry.
Blurred lines. What are we talking about?
Blurred lines. What are we talking about? Japanese strip club over here? What are we?
Blurred lines. What are we talking about? That song by Robin Thicke. Robin Thicke. What are we talking about? That chubby girl that I stole.
I think, what if Robin Thicke just had a very thick penis? You kind of expect him to have it. But yeah, back to what we were talking about.
What about Batman Thicke? Just running up to Robin Thicke and being like, yo, what's up, Batman Thicke?
I'm kind of lost there. Where does Batman come into it?
Yeah, oh, that's kind of the thing, like Batman and Robin. And just
okay.
And that's exactly the reaction that he'd kind of have, but he'd probably be more mad about it.
I think he would appreciate that. I'm not even joking. That's a funny bit. Oh yeah, so we're talking about blurred lines, the line getting blurred in
I don't even. What are we talking about?
I guess, yeah, using slurs. Kind of like autistic people using slurs. You let them go. Old people using slurs, you let them go. But I feel it's someone who you feel should know better. I think that's when it kind of becomes an issue.
It's kind of like the idea, I don't know, it was like Friedrich Nietzsche or like Carl Jung or something like that had the idea of like the shadow self.
And they were talking about black people that kind of look like you. You know, Jackson, there's your shadow self.
I'm like, that's Mario Judah. I don't know.
Lil Uzi Vert could probably be your shadow self. I think you kind of have a similar maybe face shape.
No.
Don't think you have a similar face shape to Lil Uzi Vert? Maybe it's the stubble or something.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, because your girlfriend, maybe also because your girlfriend calls your penis Lil Uzi Vert. Because it's very small, its thighs quick like an Uzi, and it's got a slight vertical angle to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's 3 for 3. That's good.
I know, that's all right. And all of... Dang. I think there's something almost... All your friends are dead. Something about that.
And by friends, I mean will to live.
Okay, yes. There we go.
No, damn. I keep just losing my train of thought. What were we saying before? Oh, yeah, the shadow self. Yeah. It's like... So,
oh, yeah.
Here's, I think, a big problem with people or like society at the moment is like, this is where virtue signaling and everything comes from is the fact that we all have like evil in us. And I think it was actually like Nietzsche who said like we need to kind of recognize that we have that and then kind of utilize that to be powerful.
Yeah.
But then the problem is a lot of people don't want to recognize that they have that and instead point the finger at other people who are misusing theirs. It's kind of like, no, you have that too. That's why like dog whistling and whatever works is just like something happening. Someone else is like, oh, that's racist. Yeah. And it's like, no.
Yeah, it is. I'm a racist. And so are you. I like that. I like that response to be like, yeah, no, I can use the N-word. I'm racist. And so are you towards white people. So I'll see you later, N-word.
Yeah.
That's
a good response.
And I know I'd almost be like, okay, yeah, That's the guy that saved my life earlier today. So I guess he's on a roll.
Yeah.
But yeah, using it to kind of... So when you understand that you have evil inside you, using it as power. That's an interesting take.
And then it's like kind of like a choice to be nice or whatever. I feel like that's something I've kind of like had in my personal, like in my growth as a person, is being like the youngest of my family and everything like that. Being able to kind of be sweet because I could just be that sweet kid and everything like that. But it's just like everyone kind of, it's like my position is secure as long as I can muck up, still do what I want to do, but also hide that.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a lot of kids hide that shit from their parents. I think that maybe is what makes cool kids, is they don't care.
They don't care about the evil. They're kind of quick to put it out there.
They don't care about hiding it or whatever. I think it's a big sign of people truly knowing who they are.
Well, that's true when you're not ashamed and you kind of put it out there.
Not ashamed, but you also like know that it's wrong. Because I think that might be where courage and stuff comes from. Ooh. You know, standing up for yourself, for example, is not a nice thing to do.
Yes. It's hard. It's very tricky. And it requires a lot because it's kind of cringe.
What, just stand up for yourself?
Just stand up for yourself.
Gets bullied. You know? You're getting bullied
and to actually fight back and stand up and be like, no, enough of that. It's kind of cringe. You know what I mean? To actually do that, people are like, oh gosh, you're really standing up for himself. He's like, no, stop hitting me.
Yeah.
Like, it's very cringy. The cool thing to do is to always like laugh it off. Be like, yeah, yeah, no, it's fun. Yeah, okay, yeah, oh. And then just kind of walk away. That's not cringe.
Did you have a kid in your school who would kind of get bullied or whatever and would kind of play along with it like that?
Yeah.
I can picture examples of that as well.
Too well. And I know I always look back on moments where I should have probably like more stood up for other people. And that's that idea of that kind of stays with you forever. Like when you don't address a situation. That's, I feel, the stuff that eats you up at night. That's going to stay with you forever. Like, let's say you do see someone, like a little kid getting beaten up or something like that, and you don't step in. I feel that stuff kind of eats you up inside. And if you step in and you actually help, it does like the opposite. You feel good. You'll probably remember that good moment for the rest of your life. And so will probably other people.
Maybe, I mean, surely it must have happened. So maybe I've like blocked it out, but I really can't think.
I know a moment where, I think there was a kid in my year and he kind of like, what was he? He was like dry humping like a year 6 kid or something like that. I would have probably been in year 9 and like our whole year was kind of watching.
You went to such a hot school.
Oh, we went to such a hot school and we were all kind of like playing with ourselves a little bit while it was happening. But I remember that moment in particular.
Naturally.
Everyone's kind of watching and I feel every single person felt the same thing. Where it's like, this is just kind of awkward. This is just kind of, someone should step in here. This kid's too young and it's not funny. Like, this is like a bigger kid as well. And like maybe even like a tiny little year 6 kid has him like up against a locker and he's kind of like dry humping him. Everyone's kind of watching and awkwardly laughing. And I do think of that moment as like quite a bit where I should have stepped in. I should have been like, okay, yeah, no, enough. That's not funny. But I was...
I'm having like an overload of how many funny things there are to say. I can't say any of them. You should have stepped in like, hey, give me a turn.
And yeah, that's my biggest fantasy is imagining that kid was me.
So for that instance,
that's something. Yeah.
So everyone's kind of watching that go down.
Yeah, probably 20 plus kids. Everyone's watching it go down. It's kind of right near the lockers. And it's awkward. It's awkward.
I guess why people don't want to interject with something like that is that morals are assigned to things. Nothing, you know what I mean? Like, existentially, nothing really means anything. So you're watching that happen. You're like, well, I don't know if this is good or bad. The fact that no one's stepping in.
You kind of know it's bad.
But that's the thing, like,
dang.
No, but if it was obviously bad, someone will step in and then everyone will.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
I feel that was right on that line where I feel if one person stepped in, I would have been inclined to be like, okay, I'll make sure this guy doesn't cop any slack for stepping in. And it was always also kind of like, I'm glad it's not me.
Yeah, and you're going to bring a lot of heat on yourself.
Yes.
But yeah, if it was like an obvious thing, like, no, a lot of people are kind of not letting this happen.
Yeah.
Then
maybe even if it was my friend that was doing it, it would be, I feel a lot more inclined to step in.
Yes.
But when this is a kid that I don't really know.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a bit like dangerous or a wild card. Mm-hmm. I feel that's when it can kind of be harder to step in. But again, today, I always feel like if I could go back, I would step in. I would say something.
So that's actually a moment that you really remember like that?
Yes.
Is it because, do you think to yourself like, oh, that was a moment that that kid really needed help? Or is it like, yes, I was a coward in that moment?
A bit of both. Yeah, because I was like, that kid probably needed help. That probably would mess him up a little bit. And kind of he stayed on trusting people, like evil in the world where everyone's kind of watching. It's almost like a movie. And everyone's just kind of like laughing at it and having. He's probably thinking, damn, it's a cold world we live in.
What if he shot the school up after that and you're like, I couldn't have saved it.
I would be like, go ahead. And I would be like, dang, really? Yeah, you're right. I didn't do anything. And I'll kind of understand being shot. If he shot every one of those kids that stood there and watched, and the guy that did it, and he had the gun up against my chest, I would be like, okay, I can see your angle.
Yeah.
It's almost like, it's like the consequence thing, where it's like, if someone's getting, or what is it? It's like the Spider-Man thing. The guy's getting robbed.
Yeah.
Peter Parker can stop him, and he said, it's not my problem. And then that guy goes and kills his uncle.
Yeah.
Peter's probably thinking, dang, that's karma. I kind of deserve that. It's horrible, but I kind of deserve that.
I think, a really big thing is, and why that would even be a problem now, is because it's like courage to decide what is right and wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and it's very well kind of respected. I think the majority of people don't know how to act in situations, but then you have someone who is familiar in a situation enough that they can go like for instance, say you had been in a situation similar to that, where you felt a little bit more powerful and in control, and you had seen that go down before, and now you're in this situation.
Yes.
There's 20 people there, and you're the one that steps up. They would all respect you because they're like, he has the most information on how to deal with a situation like this.
Yes.
And that's probably where like respect comes from in that way. It's like we're all kind of looking up for answers, and then the person that acts in that way.
Even that moment, I feel if someone was to step in, I would be like, man, I respect that guy. Because again, you're at that age where you're kind of looking for what to do and what courage is and da-da-da-da-da. Like, I guess the example could be you're walking, like, let's say in Newtown or something like that. In an alley, there are 3 guys taking advantage of a woman, like with knives. Do you join in? and how long do you last?
Wait.
Yeah. So
wait,
what do you do in that situation?
Wait, there's 3 guys.
3 guys.
Who are the other 2 guys?
Have knives. Me and Big.
Yeah.
So the Sausage Boys have a woman with a knife against her neck.
Yeah.
A guy comes along. What's he gonna do? What do you do in that situation? You see this hilarious podcasters taking advantage of a woman. 3 guys and it's just you. Do you go in and do something and potentially cut yourself, get cut, and potentially even die?
I see what you mean. Like that they're the things that are gonna kind of keep you up at night because you probably realize how insignificant and how powerless you are.
Because it's a scary thing where it's like, right now, you're going to live with that for the rest of your life and know you didn't do anything. But if you go in, you could potentially die. But you would be pretty courageous. If you got like a scar on your face, that would be even pretty cool. The worst thing is you die. And then again, it's like that whole idea, if you have a child, if you have family you have to go home to, what do you do then? You have to go home to your kid. You have to go home to your family. You can't risk dying.
That's what makes a hero as well, is like the greatest sacrifice.
But a hero with a child would have to say, I have to go back to my child. I can't die for this. But then, both ways as well. The child's going to be like, oh yeah, my dad stopped a woman from being assaulted and he died doing it. What a hero. And he'll kind of think of that for the rest of his life.
I guess it's kind of like the Pete Davidson thing, right? Like his dad being a firefighter and dying in 9/11. And then you kind of even think about Pete Davidson in a way. Like what a story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What a cool guy.
You think about the Pete Davidson if his father... Like, I think there's a lot of accounts of a lot of firefighters running away from the fires as well. How Pete Davidson would be if he knew his father ran away from the site. I like the idea that he's just like some multi-millionaire and he's like well-adjusted, doesn't have any tattoos and has like a good family and wife and kids and doesn't have any substance addictions or anything like that.
If his daddy was a coward.
Yeah, if his father was a coward.
You know what? That's probably where being a coward comes from, is like, because again, nothing really is right or wrong. Only to your own sense of justice.
Yeah.
So I guess you look at that and you go, oh damn, I am powerless to do something against that. But then that's what makes a hero, is having the courage to potentially take a big sacrifice because you don't have that thing that is going to give you the upper hand in that situation. Yes.
Because again, it's not even really brave to, like, let's say if there are 3-4-year-old kids harassing like a little girl.
It's not brave.
It's so easy just to be like, yeah, get away from her. And it's not even like, it doesn't even impact your day. Like, what would you do in the situation of the Sausage Boys with knives? What do you physically do? It's late at night. You're walking home from Kelly's. You kind of go a back way. You see it happen. There's no one else around. You have to act basically now. Because if you call the police, it's going to be too late. If you go and call for help, it's going to be too late. You don't even have your phone with you. And it's going to be too late. They're not going to come in time.
Who's not going to come in time?
I'd
like to say...
ED.
What's ED?
Erectile dysfunction. Not going to.
I'd like to, I'd like to say that I'd step in, but if I'm being completely honest, like that's scary. That's very scary.
Terrifying.
And
yeah.
Because
I don't think I've had that moment happen yet, but I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I would do.
Do you feel confident that you would step in?
No.
Wow. Yeah, me either.
Yeah. And that's the scariest thing, especially when it's like you've seen the situation, you've identified 3 dangerous objects.
Yeah.
3 guys against 1. They're a lot larger and a lot more powerful, and you know you don't really stand a chance.
Well, I guess that's a sacrifice.
Most likely it's going to kill you.
You're literally going, well, yeah, I'm probably going to get fucked up here. I could, like, you run up and push kind of all 3 of them at the same time and just yell at this lady, like, run. But then you're done. You know that you're...
Yeah. And then they start raping you. Yeah.
Oh, like you push him over and the lady...
Jackson would do. I volunteer as tribute.
The lady, like, runs away and you realise that...
She calls you the N-word. And you're like, actually, let's go.
You go and save that woman and she's running away and you yell out the N-word at her. Oh, wait.
Anyway, I might need a run. Oh.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey.
Amy cooked me
What's
some eggs.
this? Oh. Yeah, I might need a run, baby boy.
Yo.
They look like some good eggs.
Really good epi.
Legendary.
You know, it was the biggest thing kind of listening back to those old episodes and going like, oh, okay, this is what it is. You know what I mean? It sucks having to do it on... It sucks having to do it on Zoom and everything like that. But,
which you said with your boyfriend when you were mutually masturbating.
Do it on Zoom. Yes.
Yeah. No, but it's true. It's true. But we're doing it. We're getting it in.
No, that was a great episode. I think there was just something about remembering, like, just showing about memory and like kind of what we did. You know what I mean? Like how you kind of do.
Yeah.
I can't do podcasting.
And I was. I was saying. What about a guy who never swallowed a drink? Look. No, just swallow. Swallow, it's not hard to do.
What about like a teacher or something like asks you to like read in front of the class? And you're like, oh yeah, just let me have a drink of water first. And you don't want to read in the class, so you just kind of never finish the drink.
You're like, no, I'm third. I have to drink. But yeah, I got to bounce.
Yeah, no worries, man.
Baby boys. Peace out.
We'll be back weekly from now on.
Yes, we're back. And we are...
Bye.